Hi there and welcome to this channel. My name is Mary Amondo, in charge of training and career advisory here at Corporate Staffing Services. And as usual, I am joined by our lead HR consultant, Mr. Paminas. Today we'll be discussing mainly about employee termination due to poor performance and whether there is a right way to go about it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Mary, for having me.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, with regards to employee termination, especially due to poor performance, first of all, what do we mean by employee termination?
So when it comes to any professional engagement, which is work-related, there are certain expectations that an employer has on an employee. So these expectations could be documented. So this is where we talk about key performance indicators, we talk about targets, performance metrics. Or it could also be, for some companies, it's not documented, although I would really encourage them to make sure that it's documented. So if the employee does not meet these performance expectations, then termination is a possibility. The law does allow that an employee, indeed, there can be separation on account of the employee has not met the performance measures set up by the employer. Yeah. So in a nutshell, this is where an employee could lose their job because they are not performing to the employer's expectation. Yeah.
When you're talking about terminating an employee due to poor performance, is there a right way to go about it?
Yeah, this is an area that we help many employers, and we are seeing HR is becoming, a critical function of the organization. And this is for two ways. Number one, you want a harmonious working relationship. And number two, maybe you want to make sure that you're following the law. So of late, we've seen instances where an employee rushes to the court and says, I was on procedural terminated, even when their performance was not good. And so it happens, if you as an employer, you've not met certain, you've not taken certain steps, indeed, that can be termed as unfair termination. So for example, I started by saying that it's important for every employer to make sure that they have key performance indicators or targets, and that the employee signs against them, because this is what sets the relationship. So apart from you having a job description, ensure that your employee has targets. Yeah, whether they're in accounts, whether they're in sales, whether it's the CEO, whether it's even the junior most person. So that's number one. So make sure that you communicate your expectation. Number two is to make sure that this person is appraised. So there's a performance appraisal. So maybe I can't just wake up one day and tell you you've not been performing. Where am I coming from? So many of the companies, you'll find that they'll either have an end-year performance review, or for some, depending on the nature of the job, someone is appraised on a regular basis, maybe on a monthly basis. For example, if you're in sales, you have certain performance metrics. So it goes without saying, at the end of the month, there will be something to show, oh, this is what John has done, this is what Paminas has done. So there must be an evaluation of some sort. Yeah. Then these must be communicated in writing. So Mary, I sit with you, I tell you, you are failing in A, B, C, D. Okay, and this is where I need you to improve, which takes me to my third step. So if an employee is not meeting your performance expectation, you are supposed to put them through what we call a performance improvement plan, or PIP. Someone in HR, PIP. Yeah. So this means I've had a sitting with you, I've appraised your performance, Mary, and you are lacking in one or two areas, and I've given you a chance to improve. That's what PIP is all about. Yeah, and these also should be documented. Yeah, so I'd like to warn employers, managers that sending memos, emails, shouting at employees, sending them bad texts, that does not count as performance feedback. Neither does it count as PIP. Yeah. Now, when I give you a PIP and the time lapses, so I give you a PIP for 2 months, maybe you don't perform, there's no improvement, then I'm allowed to terminate your contract. Now, based on the terms. So if I need to give you 1 month notice, I give you 1 month. If I don't want you to work, I pay you in lieu of notice. That's the proper procedure set out as per the law. And if you omit, if you miss on any of those, no matter how bad your performance has been, Mary, or the employee performance has been, they can go to court and you'll be asked to pay for damages.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's something also the court ruled, I believe it's this year, that also you need to hear the employee out because there could be mitigating factors. In fact, there's a bank that was penalized for firing the manager on account of non-performance. What happened? So this manager was moved, so he'd been with a bank for 15 years and he'd been performing very well. So he was promoted to a new branch. Then COVID came. Remember, your targets are still the same.
Yeah.
So what happened to businesses during COVID times?
Most businesses.
Most businesses didn't perform well. But the employer still they went through the whole process, but they did not consider the mitigating factors. Where the employee said, I've had a track record, but A, B, C, D has happened, and that's the reason why I was not able to meet my targets. So can you understand? Can you give me another chance? So also the courts will also consider that. So it's not just a case of saying, oh, we've ticked the boxes, so we need to fire this person. No, no, no. So you also you need to look at the mitigating factors. If indeed, for example, if one of your go-downs burnt and you can't be able to supply the goods to clients, where do you expect the salesperson? How do you expect the salesperson to meet your target? Or let's say your goods are held up at the port. The clients are there. The salesperson is doing all they can to go and get customers, but there are factors beyond their control. In fact, that's what I was driving towards. If there are factors beyond the purview of the employee, then you cannot terminate them.
Great. Yeah. Based on the example that you've just given, I know this is an area that most managers or even organizations might be struggling with.
Yeah.
What advice as a lead HR consultant would you have for managers, organizations that might be struggling with how to terminate an employee the right way due to poor performance?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is seek advice, and this is where get a competent HR person. So if you have an internal person, HR person, we are trained for this. If not, you can come to people like us and we'll be able to guide you step by step. How do you go about it? So make sure the documentation is done the right way. If the PIP are there. And even remember where I began. Do you have job descriptions? Do they have KPIs? If you don't have KPIs, imagine maybe you missed out the whole process. Because the employee will come and sit with you at the table and tell you, I didn't know what I was expected of me.
Yeah.
And you've lost the case.
There's
as
no
simple
evidence.
as that. There's no evidence. But if I come and I tell you, Mary, your target is this much, and you've only been doing 20%, even you, how can you defend yourself as an employee? You've also lost.
Yeah.
So I tell employers, obvious, start with putting your house in order, have HR structures, KPIs, targets, reasonable targets, and then that will make it smooth. And like I said at the beginning, it will help the business environment because the employee knows what is expected of them. So there will be no these emotional issues. So consult an expert, either internal, and if you need an external one, we are here to help you. Yeah.
Thank you so much for those insights.
Karibu sana.
Indeed, HR consultancy comes in handy when it comes to, as an organization, ensuring that you set your HR structures in order. And this will help when it comes to such kind of situations where you have to let go an employee due to not being able to perform well. It works best for you as an organization. And this is where we come in as corporate staffing services. Feel free to write us an email in the email address provided below, and we'll be able to reach out to you just to guide on how best you can be able to go about such kind of situations. We look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.